Ma'am, I'm going to need you to step away from the pool, the kind of voice that doesn't wait for permission, slicing the Georgia heat, making the air feel thick even when you're sitting still, just trying to finish a chapter of your book, right? That was me, Belle Johnson, just blinking at the sun, letting my sunglasses slip down my nose, seeing two uniformed cops stride through the pool gate like they were walking onto a crime scene, not a backyard where I'd lived for months. I didn't move. Not right away. Maybe it's pride. Maybe it's something deeper, but there's a moment when you know someone's already decided who you are before you say a word, and you feel it before you even stand up. My hand stayed in my lap, iced water sweating onto the plastic table, and I just asked, "I'm sorry, what's going on?" The taller cop, Braxton, I'd later learned, stomped across the concrete, boots landing hard, his partner right behind. "We got a call about trespassing," he said, tapping his notepad. "Need to confirm you live here. You know the script." I tilted my head, something in me pushing back. What made me the suspect? The shorter cop, Miller, smirked. "You match the description." Of course I did. Sitting alone at the pool. That's apparently all it takes. "I live in 308C, I said, slow and careful, reaching for my bag, showing them my key card and ID, letting them watch my hands like I might pull a rabbit out of my purse or something, not just a wallet. As Braxton studied my license like it might start talking back, Miller held my key card up to the sun. Silence. When you're black and the police have you cornered, you learn to hold your breath, make your movements obvious, let them take the next step so you're not the one they blame. Braxton, read my name out loud. Belle Johnson, dragging it out. "Then you live here alone?" "No, with my cousin. She works nights." "So what are you doing here today?" I looked him dead in the eye, sitting. That's it. Not explaining, not justifying, just sitting. "Are you here often?" Miller asked, cocking his head like I was an animal at the zoo. "Every Sunday. Same chair, same playlist, same peace and quiet until today." "We're not accusing you," Braxton said, just following up. "Right," I shot back, "and what did the complaint actually say?" He hesitated. "Unfamiliar woman at the pool, possibly loitering, looked out of place." Out of place. Those words hit different. You ever feel like your skin's the only crime you're committing? Did they say I did anything threatening? No, just that you didn't look familiar, maybe didn't live here. So someone saw a black woman at the pool and assumed I broke in. Braxton shifted. Miller scribbled something. Neither would meet my eye. Before it could get any weirder, a voice from above, sharp, familiar, called down from the third floor. "She lives here. That's Belle Johnson. I've seen her walk her dog every morning." That was Marcy from 310, not a close friend, just the kind of neighbor you trade nods with. She didn't sound scared. She sounded tired of this. "You should be asking who made this call, not bothering her," Marcy added. For a second, Braxton looked almost embarrassed. He handed back my stuff with a stiff nod. "Appreciate your cooperation, ma'am, but I didn't reach for it yet." I looked at both of them and let my voice shake just a little, just enough for the truth to land. "I pay rent. I follow the rules. Still, this is what I get." Miller tried. "This isn't personal. It is when it keeps happening," I said, and the silence that followed was so loud I could hear my own pulse. They walked away, one last glance over the shoulder, SUV rolling out of the lot. Only then did I let my shoulders drop, but the heaviness stuck around. The kids who had been playing were gone. The whole place felt emptier, like the air had been sucked out. I just sat there, staring at nothing, feeling the condensation trail down my thermos, wishing I could go back to 5 minutes ago when I was just a person, not a problem. Marcy was still on her balcony, holding up her phone, giving me a nod. She'd recorded it. And honestly, I didn't know if I should be grateful or ashamed that someone needed to witness it at all. When I finally walked home, the house felt off. Cool, dim, silent, but the kind of silence that gets under your skin, not the peaceful kind. I sat on the edge of my couch, pressing my shaking hands into my thighs, hearing Braxton say my name like it was a riddle he didn't care to solve. This wasn't the first time, not even the worst. Just the latest in a long string of small humiliations. A neighbor once asked if I was visiting or cleaning. A noise warning slid under my door after a small birthday. A woman clutching her purse tighter in the mailroom. Alone, those things might seem harmless. Together, they're a weight that doesn't go away. My cousin Camille texted, wanting to pick up something, and for a second, I thought about lying, saying nothing happened, just another day. But that pile of not worthy energy had finally collapsed. Beck got stopped by cops at the pool. Said someone reported me for looking out of place. I'm fine, but I'm not fine. Don't bring food. Just come home. I hit send, feeling something crack open inside me that wouldn't shut. A knock at the door, and I nearly jumped. Turns out it was Marcy. She didn't look like the hero of the day, just a neighbor with wet hair and no makeup, carrying her own kind of nervous energy. Hey, she said, that was messed up back there. I filmed it, she admitted. You want to come in? I asked, and she nodded. We sat on the couch, watching her shaky phone video, hearing the way my own voice stayed level, hands visible, never once letting fear show. Can you send it to me? Already did. And for the first time, I felt a little less alone. When Camille came home, I told her everything, her jaw clenched, her eyes tired from night shift. They're going to keep doing this unless something changes. Maybe it's time we make that change, I said. I started collecting proof screenshots, notices, Marcy's video, lease agreement. I made a folder, pool incident, August 10th, because this wasn't going away on its own. The next day, people were watching. Mr. Irwin with his Buick and flag mug, Mrs. Cunningham overwatering her plants, the silence thicker than usual, like everyone was in on a secret. Later, a letter showed up. You're drawing too much attention to yourself. Maybe you should stop before you ruin it for everyone. No signature, no courage. I saved it anyway, under anonymous threats. Because that's what fear looks like in a nice neighborhood. That night, Camille and I sat on the balcony, talking about all the times we'd been made small so someone else could feel big. What are you going to do with it, she asked. The next morning, I sent an email to the HOA, CC'd Marcy, Camille, a couple other neighbors I could trust. Detailed the whole thing, attached the video. Their reply was cold process, not apology. That's when I sent everything to Justice in Place, a local advocacy group I'd followed for years but never contacted. Sign my name. No more hiding. The whispers grew, online and off. Facebook threads about community safety, side glances in the parking lot, supportive neighbors, and not-so-subtle warnings tucked under my windshield. It was all out there now, me's story, our story, the cracks in the system for everyone to see. Even the police department reached out. Deputy Chief Harwood, a black woman, wanted to meet, review body cam footage, and talk about bias training. Progress? Maybe. Or just another version of the same dance. By the time the HOA finally held their emergency meeting, I'd rehearsed every possible outcome in my head. I stood in front of that room, board members, neighbors, some who had whispered, some who had watched, and I told the truth. Not about racism, not about villains, but about a culture that looks away, that lets bias wear a smile and call it concern. I told them about the pool, about being asked to prove I belonged, about all the times before. I didn't ask for pity. I asked for honesty. And you know what? One by one, people stood up. Mr. Fry, retired, white, said he'd seen it all and was tired of it. Marcy spoke, then a nurse, then a man who had never spoken at any meeting before. Even those who disagreed couldn't ignore it anymore. No one clapped when the board promised new policies, but enough people nodded, enough hands touched my shoulder that I knew I wasn't alone. Not this time. Sunday came, and I walked Bruno, my cousin's pit mix, like I always did. Neighbors nodded, some awkward, some brave, and I let them watch. I joined a group chat, Forum 308C, where residents started working together on bias prevention. Hate notes still showed up, but this time I took pictures, sent them to the advocacy group, and let the wind take the paper away. When the police department asked me to serve on their advisory board, I said yes. Not because I wanted to, but because it was time. Weeks later, we held a community forum. 60 people showed up, old, young, black, white, everyone a little nervous, everyone seeing each other in a new light. Justice in Place helped run the show, real talk, no blaming, just listening. I told my story, then others did, two stories that had been silent, now out in the air, impossible to ignore. That night, after all the applause, the hugs, the tears, Camille asked if I was proud. No, I said, just relieved. But I'm not done. The city passed a new ordinance requiring specific documentation for police calls from HOAs. training programs started using my case as an example. Sometimes you don't get to choose to be the story. Sometimes the story finds you, and then it's just about what you do next. So, if you're still here, if you felt something reading Fizz didn't just scroll by, bring it up at your dinner table, your group chat, wherever your people gather. Because it was never just about a pool. It's about presence, about speaking up, about refusing to shrink. And if you want more stories like this, real, messy, complicated support the folks telling them, click like, share, and yeah, drop your truth in the comments. Even if it makes you uncomfortable. Especially then.